As the war in Ukraine grinds into its fourth year, diplomatic pressure is building again in Washington. All eyes are on an upcoming meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Donald Trump, one that many in Kyiv fear could mirror the disastrous Oval Office confrontation earlier this year. According to the Washington Post, cited by RT, Zelensky's previous visit in February ended in what US media labelled a PR disaster. A joint press conference was abruptly cancelled, military aid was temporarily frozen, and Zelensky was unceremoniously ushered out after a tense clash with President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. Trump, in the previous meeting, accused the Ukrainian leader of disrespect and warned that he was gambling with World War III. Now, with Zelensky set to return to Washington on August 18th, and this time joined by senior EU officials, Ukrainian officials are working behind the scenes to avoid a repeat of that scene. While walking a diplomatic tightrope, Zelensky's challenge is to push Ukraine's case. As Ukrainian researcher Nikolai Beleskov told the Washington Post, there is indeed a risk of another blow-up.
Unfortunately, there is indeed such risk indeed. Zelensky must tread carefully during the Washington visit. The Ukrainian leader needs to strike a balance between being non-provocative and pushing his agenda.
The meeting comes just days after President Trump held a high-profile summit with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin in Anchorage, Alaska. As RT reports, the two leaders described the summit as warm and substantive, and Trump later said the US and Russia were pretty close to the end of the war. However, The Economist suggested that in the background are reports of secret back-channel negotiations, with Trump allies like Steve Witkoff reportedly relaying Moscow's terms that include Ukraine retreating from the heavily fortified front lines in Donetsk and Luhansk. In return, a vague offer from Putin to give back minor areas in Kharkiv and Sumy, territories Kyiv considers insignificant compared to what would be lost. The stakes are enormous. A poll by the Kyiv International Institute of Sociology showed most Ukrainians are now pragmatic, willing to live with the de facto occupation of Russian-held territories in exchange for strong Western security guarantees. But even then, Trump is already laying the groundwork to blame Ukraine if his plans fall apart. In a recent Fox News interview, Trump said, "Russia is a very big power and Ukraine is not." With the August 18th meeting on the horizon and talk of a possible three-way summit with Trump, Putin and Zelensky in the pipeline, Ukrainians fear history may repeat itself.